Do you know what's the difference between JEE, NEET examination, IISER aptitude test and NEST NEST? Of course, apart from the colleges that offer admission via all these examinations, the primary difference is JEE asks questions in physics, chemistry, math. NEET asks questions in physics, chemistry, bio, PCB. NEST gives you an option to attempt from PCM or PCB, but IISER aptitude test makes it mandatory for you to attempt all four sections: physics, chemistry, maths, bio, irrespective of your subject criteria in class 11th and 12th. Of course, it's not mandatory. You can choose to attend the questions where you want. The total paper is of 240 marks. And if you want to get admitted into IISc Bangalore, the #1 research institute of India, you want to get into IISER Pune, Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research. IISER Pune, by this time I know everyone should be aware of IISER and NISER and IISc and elite research institutes of India. Also, if you want to get into IIT Madras, yes, IIT Madras and IIT Guwahati do take admissions via IISER aptitude test. Let me know if you, in case you didn't know about this before this video. But my point is, if you want to get into IISc Bangalore, IISER Pune, IIT Guwahati, Madras, you need to attempt all four subjects, and not just attempt, you need to score good marks. Okay, by good I mean more than 220 out of 240 for IISc, more than 180 for IISER Pune and both the IITs. Okay, so irrespective, they don't care where you're a PCM student or PCB student. Next question is, how do you do that? Okay, so if PCB students are facing difficulties in maths and vice versa for PCM students, how are you going to solve this problem? Because literally there is no other resource or guidance that tell you how to solve that. Of course, PCMB students are having an advantage in this segment, but 90% of PCMB students as well, they're not able to focus properly on all four subjects. So in this video, I'm going to talk exactly about this. So that is the question. Because literally there is no other resource or guidance outside that helps you propel in all four subjects and perform and score marks. Of course, apart SciAstra. Okay, because SciAstra is now a community of more than 5 lakh active members, and we have been guiding students and helping them get into elite institutes of not just India, across the world, such as MIT, Harvard, Max Planck, Cambridge, Oxford, Sheffield and India, IISc Bangalore, IITs, all the IITs, all the IISERs, NISER, IACS, CBS, and SciAstra is the first and only platform in India, and I would say the whole world, to help students prepare for all four subjects: physics, chemistry, maths, bio. This year in 2025, SciAstra has more than 25% of all IISerites in India from SciAstra. Of course, 50% of NISERites this year are from SciAstra, and more than 20 students of IISc Bangalore in first year are from SciAstra out of 60 seats. Okay, so that is more than 30%, and how amazing is that? Because they found the right guidance, right tools, right mindset and precise implementation of everything here at SciAstra, and this is what thousands of other students are right now doing in Kalam batch. So if you want to know more, the links are given in the description. You can check it out. And the best part is, right now the Diwali sale is live, meaning you have all the courses in SciAstra at lowest ever prices, even lower than the launch prices. We just wanted to convey to you that we at SciAstra are with you in your journey to your dream research institutes, whichever way it is. It can be IITs, IISER, IISc or whatever. And we want to get you there, right? With all these strategy, resources and the right mindset. So definitely check the description for the links, visit the SciAstra website, download the application, because not just about the courses, in the free materials you're going to get lots of mock tests, sample papers, PYQs, some revision notes as well. Now let's jump into this video where I'll be breaking down how can PCB students score good marks in mathematics, and in the later part you'll be having the same strategy for PCM students for biology. And of course, I won't be doing it, a special guest will be doing it, your all favorite mentor. So stay tuned for that later part of the video as well. Now I'll be telling you what are the important subjects, how can you maximize your score, what all things you need to keep in mind, how can you prepare, and what should be your strategy. Let's get started, guys. Now let's see, this is math strategy for PCB students. First disclaimer, pardon me for my handwriting. If you think my handwriting is really bad, sorry, I can't do better. But what I can tell you here, that this can be a gold mine for you if you stay tuned with me for the next few minutes. Let's start with the chapters. What all things PCB students face difficulty? Number one, if they are in class 11th or 12th or a dropper, then you have not studied maths for 1, 2, 3 years respectively. So it's very important, and I do understand we have been doing it for last 4 years, 5 years. Start with the chapter that you can comfortably start with. So it can be quadratic equation. It's a part of algebra. Okay, so maths is divided into algebra, calculus, coordinate geometry, and couple of other things. Okay, so vector 3D, of course. These are some of the topics that are easy to start with. Of course, this is a overlap of not so difficult, easier to start with, high scoring topics. These are very frequently asked in the examination as well. Okay, so these 3 to 4 things are what we are going to keep in our minds. So you need to start with quadratic equation, trigonometry, vectors, relations and functions is very important to understand, because in IIT, many a times couple of very easy questions if you check the PYQs. By the way, PYQs are also available, chapter-wise PYQs, in the Mastering Maths book. If you want, you can check these out from the description. But functions, then of course, if you can understand somewhat, limits can also be done, right? I do know that it's comparatively harder for PCB students to study math than for PCM students to study bio. Of course, I know that. That's why I'm telling you that to start with easier topics, and the goal is not to finish the whole subject mathematics. The goal is only to finish handful of important chapters that can fetch you at least 15 to 25 marks, and that can be done in the next 6 months. Okay, believe me, that is possible. Now, what should be your typical flow? You need to start with the lectures. If you want, you can start with NCERT or the recordings of the lectures or live lectures by SciAstra. You can check them out in Kalam batch or so. That is the first step. Second step, you need to solve the DPPs. That can also be done. Okay, your doubt mentors are there to help you out. Your class subject mentors are also there. So DPPs. Now, third one, you can solve the questions from the book. It can be any relevant book. Mastering is one we suggest. And let's say this is quadratic equations, okay, or relation functions. So exercises are given in level 1. These are a couple of easier questions. So 40-50 questions are there in level 1. Level 2 is the PYQs. PYQs are from IAT and NEST, both chapter-wise with answer keys. And there are numerous solved examples inside the theory part as well. So there is also a summary section which you can use to revise your chapter, okay, and make notes here. A lot more things can be done. So that is your 3-step process: theory, then DPPs, and then question practice. Then of course the mock test will come, but that is the general strategy. Let's not go over that. So first is quadratic equation, second is trigonometry. Trigonometry directly questions are very seldom asked, not often, but it is used at various places. Okay, same with quadratic equation. Now vectors is actually easy and frequently asked as well, right? And functions, limits. Functions are frequently asked. I would say easy to moderate, but needs lots of practice, but is very, very important because function has applications everywhere, almost in all of the mathematics. And now function is already there. Relation is what you can also do. This is easy. I know many of PCB students also are aware of relation function. So I can briefly tell you an instance that the first batch that we taught at SciAstra, and we were very skeptical and somewhat scared about PCB students as well. So we were guiding them. Many of the toppers came from that batch, AIR 5, 10, 30, 40, like that. We rigorously did maths 3 to 4 chapters. I did trigonometry, relation function, vectors, and somewhat differential calculus. These 3 to 4 chapters, topics and areas they did, and they were able to solve 4 to 6 questions in NEST examination. Okay, so that amounted to 18 to 30 marks. If you do it in IAT, you would be getting 24 to 28 marks. 6 questions, so 6, 4, 24. So if you score out of 180 marks in PCB, you are able to score more than 150. Let's say you're on a good track. So 20 to 25 additional marks in mathematics would propel your score to a sum of 180, 190, and that is really good for IISER Pune. This is what you need to take care of and keep in your mind. The idea is that start with easy topics, high scoring topics, and ask most frequently. If you want to know what kind of questions are asked from these chapters, how many questions, what is the trend analysis, check out the free material section of SciAstra. The trend analysis for IAT and NEST is given over there, the PDF form. You can check it, that most number of questions are asked from, and you can use it to your benefit. But if you have any questions, then let me know in the comments or call us directly. Contact number is given in the pinned comment. Yes, we'll be happy to help you. Now is the time to invite one of the most, I would say, your favorite mentor, Akash Bhaiya, to guide you on biology. Okay, so this section will mostly be helpful for PCM students and PCMB students. Some guidance for biology who are not able to score marks. So stay tuned. This section is going to be amazing, and I will see you soon. All the best.
So after math, let's see how you have to attempt biology part, or whether you have to attempt biology or not in IISER aptitude test. So here the first question is whether you have to attempt biology or not. This question should not be in your mind, because the level of paper and the cutoff of IIT exam is increasing day by day, year by year. So that's why you should try to attempt all the 4 sections: physics, chemistry, maths, biology, whether you are a PCM student or a PCB student. And the second question is that if you have to do all the 4 sections let's say biology, then what should be your strategy and which all chapters should you target in order to get good marks in IAT exam? So first of all, let's see what all chapters should a math student should do and attempt in IAT exam so that they get a decent or more than decent score. So for non-bio student, we have two things here. If you want to get all the marks just like biology students in bio, then you have to do all the chapters. But if you just want to attempt limited amount of question in order to get a good rank or a good amount of number in order to get good college, then you should be very selective. You should target those chapters which are important. I have written over here, all the chapters that I have written over here are important, but some chapters are important and easy. They are easy to grasp. So ecology is a very easy unit, but every year questions are asked in IAT from this unit, and this unit contains 3 chapters. All of them are very easy and very scoring. So that's why you should not leave these 3 chapters of ecology, that is organism and population, biodiversity and ecosystem. Other than that, evolution is also one chapter which is linked with ecology, and if you try to read that chapter, you will find it very interesting. This chapter is also very scoring, and every year 1 or 2 questions are asked from this chapter also. So if you will do these 4 chapters, then surely you will be able to solve around 4 questions. But there are some topics which are important, but they are tough, little bit tough. At the same time, they are very interesting also. Like the unit of genetics, which contains 2 chapters, mainly classical genetics or Mendelian genetics and molecular genetics. Both these chapters are very important because every year questions are asked from these 2 chapters. Not 1, but 2, 3, 4 questions are asked. Okay, sometimes linked questions are asked. Other than that, biotechnology is a very important unit which is linked to these 2 chapters again, and it contains 2 chapters, and they are also very important. And this year also, if you will try to analyze the PYQ of 2025, you will get at least 2 questions of biotechnology. So this is also very important unit. So all in all, if you are able to do these 4 and these 4 and cumulatively 8 chapters, then you will end up getting 8 to 9 questions correct in exam, which is a good score or a decent score for a PCM student. So this strategy is for non-bio or PCM students. What about PCB students who have biology section, who have taken biology as majors in their 12th standard? So they have to attempt all the 15 questions of biology part. They can't afford to leave any of the chapter, whether they are important or not important chapters. They can't skip any of the chapter. All in all, there are 32 chapters cumulatively from 11th and 12th standard, and you have to read, understand, conceptualize and attempt all the PYQs of those all chapters, because biology is a scoring part and you being a biology student can't afford to leave any of the question from that section. If you are also targeting to attempt math, it's a tough subject. So that's why there is a high probability that you will not be able to do that much in maths. Okay, so that's why I am saying repeatedly that you can't afford to leave any of the chapter or any of the question of IAT from biology section. So all chapters are important for biology student. One thing that I can suggest you can divide or segregate important chapters, conceptual chapters, factual chapters, easy chapters. Like factual chapters, they don't need any kind of conceptual understanding. So you can take those chapters and read them at the end, but you should focus more on the conceptual chapters, because those are chapters from which many of the students lose marks. And factual chapters, those students who have read them and memorized them, they will surely get marks. So for biology students, all the chapters are important. Just the priority or the sequence in which you should do those chapters, they will differ. So that is for PCB student.